Kahalal Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, and to get into the next segment of the biological warfare episode, because on both men and women, but starting in particular with the men, war is being waged on our biological system, you know what I'm saying, on this meat suit, to turn the men out, and to destroy the family, which they've been doing. They've been doing it since slave times, destroying the family. And they started with psychology, and the manipulation of the brain waves through the TV, the food and the drinks now, drugs. All right, it's on all levels, Matter of fact, I'm going to get into, hopefully, I can gather some videos on what's called an experiment to manipulate social human behavior, was called the psychosocial chemical electromagnetic biological manipulation of human consciousness. Yeah, the psychosocial chemical biological electromagnetic manipulation of human consciousness was the name of the experiment on how to use the senses, right? And manipulate the chemicals in the body to be able to manipulate the mind of the people, okay? And these fucking devils have been doing a good job at it, because that's what they were created to do, to deceive the people, all right? That's their lot. And the Lord put the spirit on them to be able to do it, and put the spirit on everybody else to be deceived, but then had his elect, had his elect and is having more of his elect through his power and glory to wake up out of the madness, and they have a covering. The elect have a covering around them, because really is the Lord that's basically sustaining us. This whole damn world is defiled. It's like it says in Jeremiah 51, the Lord is against this destroying mountain that destroys the whole earth, right? And I'm talking about, on all angles, the entire ecosystem is all messed up, and even the way that people operate. People are not even people anymore. Now they're just robotic zombies. This is Psalms 58:3. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. All right. So the wicked were created to be wicked, and they go astray, meaning they fall off into the wicked path as soon as they be born. Okay, and already speaking lies, because that's the spirit they've been given. Their poison is like the poison of a serpent, and they are like the deaf adder that stoppeth her ear, okay, which will not hearken to the voice of charmers, charming never so wisely. All right, so they're gonna do what they're gonna do. All right, they're deaf to that's why, man, these politics, trying to talk to them, trying to write to your politicians, going to town meetings. Why are you spraying chemtrails? Why are the GMOs? Why? They don't give a damn, man. They don't give a damn about your crying and sighing. All right? They don't care about that you have health issues and concerns about the abomination and the contamination that's happening on the planet. They're deaf and they're blind to that. You know what I'm saying? Because they want this destruction. And even those that are, passive about it, that, they say they're not with it, or they don't really care, man. If you're not a part of the solution, you're a part of the problem. So they're not going to do a damn thing to stop it, because they're all confederate against us, man. Start the video.
Bring prisoners to be double agents, you see? And I got a whole stack. Guantanamo Bay prisoners worked as double agents for CIA, New York Daily News. Okay, so I'm telling you, folks, they trained the current Al-Qaeda commanders at this base as the next generation. Now, going back to Dr. Ed Group here, Doc, you've got the floor. This short segment, long segment coming up. Get into, people know about bisphenol A and all this other stuff, but what about the estrogen mimickers? I know your dad was a famous chemist and all the rest of it, so you're very well versed on this, and expose it. Break down where it's at, what they're doing, what it's done to society.
Well, over the last 10 years, I've been getting increased calls from estrogen dominance in males, especially feminism, and women that have decreased testosterone levels, you know, increases in ovarian cancer, increases in prostate cancer, men getting man boobs, children being born with smaller penises. I mean, all this stuff has been going on. So I took the time and did the research and tried to figure it out and put it all together on what's really happened. You know, I like to figure out the root cause of the problem so we can come around and try to fix the problem. And what it led me to find out is a lot of different things that we've talked about in this conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy because it's really happening. It's a literal eugenics and depopulation scheme that's going on. And there's 2 points to this scheme. And one is, well, with population control, you're going to either increase the death rate, which they're doing already through chemicals and everything, or you're going to decrease the birth rate. So what I want to talk about is how they're actually decreasing the birth rate, and how they're doing it is they're using a multitude of chemicals, and it's lowering the testosterone levels. I mean, this is even happening in the wombs, because in the womb, the fetus, everybody is actually in the fetal state a female, and the brain is a female, and it doesn't, the fetus changes to a male with the introduction of testosterone, and that's what causes the ovary to form into testicles, and it also causes the brain of the fetus to become either male or female. So what happens with all these endocrine disruptors, and endocrine glands are just anything.
And that's happening to the fish and amphibians now too. Well, they're becoming bisexual.
Well, because of all the chemicals, the endocrine disrupting chemicals.
And I don't mean bisexual in sexual activity. They're becoming hermaphrodites. This is what they're doing to us. This is what they said they would do.
And the endocrine system is the glands in the body that regulate hormones. You know, so these chemicals, poisons, these drugs, cleaning products, soy, it disrupts the endocrine system, which regulates estrogen and testosterone in the bodies. All right.
In Brave New World.
Exactly, and that's what's happening. There's being, like in Peru, there's 8 women being born to every 1 male. When the woman is under stress, there's more miscarriages as males too, because basically the #1 reason that we're dealing with this is pesticides. I've identified 7 ways and 7 things that they're using to reduce our testosterone levels. The first thing is pesticides. Look at Roundup, which is being sprayed all over the place. It's the #1 pesticide in the world. It's an estrogen mimicker, and it also blocks testosterone.
That's the glyphosate.
That's the glyphosate. Also, you have atrazine, which is being sprayed on all the corn, genetically modified corn, which is a company for Syngenta, which produces that. So you have PCBs, you have bisphenols, you have all different types of endocrine disruptors, and it's happening in males where now where we used to see low testosterone around 30 years old, we're starting to see it much sooner. And what you were saying about the frogs even, there's male frogs that are actually disrupted because what nobody's talking about really is the disruption. You can be born a male but have a female brain because during gestation or when you're in the womb, there's certain...
They found that with chickens and chemicals too. And that's why a male chicken, if it needs to, can convert to a female.
Exactly, and that's my whole point, is that that's why we need to identify these sources so people can avoid them, and also increase the testosterone naturally in women and men. Because, you know, we are coming into a society where men are lazy, they're not masculine anymore, they look pregnant. I mean, just walk around and you see men with these bellies and these man boobs walking around. It's because they have high estrogen levels and low testosterone levels. So, and this is going, you know, from the 1940s is when this started, and it all started with the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds. Because...
And you're going to talk about how we counter this coming.
Since the 1940s, and it started with the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds, these damn devils. All right, like I said, the wicked being estranged from the womb, because they've been plotting on this, you know, and they've been so far on the carnal tip, winning on the biological warfare, because a lot of you people haven't even known it's been going on, right? It's been going on since the 40s, since the World War II era, and you didn't know. Your parents didn't know what was going on. All right, your grandparents didn't know what was going on. You didn't know what was going on while you was growing up. A lot of you don't know what's going on now. So this has already been trickling into generations. All right, and now we're seeing the effects of a fagged out male generation being turned out from all angles. Okay, and you people think we got 20, 30 years to coon and jive in this damn world. Our nation is supposed to rise in the hands of a bunch of fagged out Israelites. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're supposed to trust in the youth of the next generation to come. No, we're the last generation. You know what I'm saying? The last stronghold of real men is in this is right here, right now, grown. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't have 5 more years. There ain't gonna be nothing left. But you know what I'm saying, in 5 years, I ain't even trying to think about that. But if we did have 5, 10 more years, there wouldn't be no reproduction. We would have a cyborg society, man. And you devils ain't getting your freaky cyborg society and your petri dish and test tube babies.
But I mean, this is the real deal.
This is the real deal. It's scary because with the Rockefellers owning Standard Oil and Exxon Mobil and all that, these are all petroleum-based products, right? So they have to profit from these things. So why not profit by selling all these plasticizers and everything else?
Stay there. This is incredible. You're going to the floor when we come back. And I want to say something to everybody out there. You know, when I cover this, all the big establishment liberal publications that are really authoritarian come out and say, Alex is anti-gay. He's saying the chemicals are making people gay. Folks, it's making the frogs gay. And nothing against people that folks did stuff back in Rome or whatever. Yeah, I'm not saying there aren't people that aren't like this naturally. The point is, this is being done artificially on purpose. You should know. Chemicals to be sprayed on the men to make them basically...
And fuck Alex Jones, by the way. You know what I'm saying? But I'm bringing this out because he does bring out a lot of relevant information, even though I think he's an agent. But the information is there and you people can go research it. You know, yeah, he's controlled, but is there. So factual. You know what I'm saying? And if you're not against the damn wickedness, you know, you're with it. All right? Because those human beings, man, that are walking around all defiled, they got to get put to death in order to come back in the right state of mind. All right? Because in the kingdom, there's not going to be no you walking around all androgynous, a man with titties. Nah, that's not going to happen. Or a woman with a rod. You know what I'm saying? They're all going to be put to death. They're going to burn in the lake of fire. All right? And then this whole damn world got to be cleaned up from its contamination. All right? So there is, it's like in the old days. If a man slept with a beast, man, that beast had to get put to death too. All right? And that man. You know what I'm saying? So everything that is defiled has to get cleansed by fire, man. You know, so the hell with that. The hell with not being against these homosexuals, man.
We have female type reactions to war, to everything. And again, females have 3 times the connections on average between the left and right hemisphere, which makes them more intuitive, actually smarter in many ways, but not able to focus and not able to deal with warfare and death and other things or mathematics on average as much as men. And of course, they just had big studies come out last month on that subject with brain scans. It's a fact, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? I mean, you don't see world champions that are women at chess ever. Just like you don't see men having babies. It's because it's two different deals. But
all right, so a woman's brain thinks differently. All right? And then he just said you don't see women winning world-class chess tournaments because they just naturally are not geared to be able to focus in on certain things. They're not built to be biologically in nature to be the warriors, all right? The men are the warrior class. So what these devils been doing for decades is, okay, how do we conquer our enemies in the future, all right? By controlling war, all right, which they've been doing, and then from stopping our enemies from becoming warriors. Because you take down a nation by taking down the household, and that starts with the man, but that man is a warrior. You need to strip that man from his warriorhood, okay? And they've been doing it from all angles. It starts with taking down the warrior, because if there are no warriors, then there are no fighters, all right? And then all they got to do then is now just manipulate, all right? Because as long as a particular force is bent on as long as a particular force is bent on conquering, is going to have opposition by its enemy. So that's why they are disarming the men of our race, turning them into faggots, all effeminate, all right, stripping them from their warrior spirit, which is really the Lord, because that's where we're under curses. So really, you know, on the wicked side there, that's what they're working on, which is really they're ordained. That was ordained by the Lord, because we're under curses. But that's what's going to happen to them, because when you know, the men of the Lord, when we get those spiritual powers, man, they're going to be under all subjection, and there ain't going to be no warriors amongst them. How the hell are they going to be able to compete in mortal bodies against an angelic force? You know, so they want to do it with their technology, and the Lord is going to do it through the Spirit. All right. And that's how the kingdom of heaven is going to be an everlasting kingdom, because we once, you know, the men of the Lord are risen under Yahweh Shai on this earth. All right. There will be no opposition, because none of the nations will have a warrior class anymore. You know what I'm saying? Because they won't be able to defend a damn thing, you know, because they will already have been conquered, you know, and they won't be able to stand up against the power of Yahweh Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai. And they're trying to do this. They've been preparing for this, right? For the coming of Yahweh Shai, trying to destroy us. But the Lord still had our people wake up. Lord had the apostles wake up, all right? And the apostles were waking up the rest of the sheep, okay? And then together, those sheep and the apostles waking up the rest of the sheep, all right? And it's just inevitable, okay?
Here it is. U.S. military pondered love, not war. Here's another one. WebMD, that BPA causes in the fetuses of babies hormone levels to create hermaphroditic responses. And it can actually physically make you have both genitalia, but more often it simply has the brain develop as a quasi-female brain. This is mainline science. So these people should not be hated. I don't get mad because, you know, like I'm some, you know, person all obsessed and uptight. Oh my gosh, you know, women like women or men like men. My issue is this has been chemically done. That's why it's exploding. That's why women look different now and look like men. That's why men act like women. They are women. They're attracted to men because they're a woman. And I don't dislike them because of that. The fact is, though, this is meant, as they said it in Brave New World, and as they said in Brave New World Revisited, which is nonfiction, this is the plan. This is the chemical warfare plan, and this is what these chemicals do. And folks, this is their plan. When I talk about this, the establishment media goes completely ape. When I tell you that if your children drink out of bisphenol A juice line boxes, the male genitals won't drop as early, they won't develop, they'll have problems, it will rewire the brain and cause sexual responses that are feminine. But you do this to the babies, you will end up with a hybrid male-female. And that's why that's becoming so incredibly popular, is because this has been chemically done, but it's happening to the other mammals, to the other amphibians, it's happening to fish. This is the real deal. They're having fish now that are both sexes, that it's not in that species. This is happening to where, in some cases, 2/3 of the frogs down in Houston are bisexual. And then the media makes a joke and go, he's making fun of gay people. Folks, this is being done. And then that's just the sexualization. What about the cancer rates? What about the other problems in the organs? Dr. Grip, you've got the floor. Break it down for people. This eugenics conspiracy against our hormones and what you call Operation Testosterone. Go ahead.
Well, there's 3 points to it. Number one is they want sterility. Number two, they want a separation of males and females. And number three, they want gender manipulation. And they're doing gender manipulation by putting these chemicals in while you're in the fetus, because when the brains develop, even if it's a male, let's say, and the hormones aren't correct in the female, if you have all these hormone blockers and endocrine disruptors, and that brain doesn't get what it needs to become masculine, and the children the males end up with genitalia, but they end up with a female brain.
The genitals are smaller.
The genitals are smaller. The penis is usually smaller. They, they think like a female. They want to put on dresses and stuff like that. I mean, and this has been proven to happen, and this is happening on a large scale right now. There's so many different endocrine disruptors out there. We talked about,
and that's why California says we've got to let the boys go in whatever bathroom they want because they're being chemically hit And the higher level people know this. It's a program.
I mean, the American Chemical Association came out with a whole plan to ban BPA in baby bottles, but it was a diversion technique because that baby bottles was the only thing. It never really had BPA in it to begin with. It's just it was a cover-up so they could still use BPA and all the other plastics and everything else, lining cans. I mean, this separation, this feminism, masculinism thing goes back a long time, even to the fact when they introduced microwaves, because phthalates are a toxic endocrine disruptor, which makes plastics, it goes back to plastics too, it makes plastics flexible. So they come out with microwave ovens so that, and canned foods a long time ago, which was planned so women wouldn't have to cook anymore because women they wanted to get women in the...
And on record...
All right, so they had everything planned. So they brought in around the time of the women's rights movement, right? Brought out the damn microwaves, the packaged goods, the processed foods, the canned goods, all right, frozen TV dinners, all right. Why? Because who was cooking in the kitchen? It was the women getting down, all right. But then they wanted the women to get out of work, which was part of destroying the family. They gave you all the BS to encourage a generation of microwave babies and couch potatoes. And you thinking it's good, and you're being poisoned.
White House Science Center admits this. They then put it into the water, put it into the food chain, put it into the plastics to then reduce the fertility and engage in social engineering.
Yeah, and at the same time, what they're trying to do is separate the family, because another part of this whole situation with Operation Testosterone is to separate the family. They know strong core family values. When the husband and wife are together, they're having children. But whenever you can create disruptions in hormones, they have higher divorce rates, higher separation rates. When they can say, oh, it's easy to cook now, just throw your canned foods in, and the whole...
And the woman and the man are activated by the olfactory. When the men don't have the right chemicals, the woman is not attracted and does not want to merge with the male on a team level. She's not picking up the things that trigger the ganglia in the brain that then activates the instincts. This is chemical warfare.
Well, that's exactly right, because when they introduced birth control pills, by the way, birth control pills were introduced by the woman that was heading the eugenics program. When they introduced birth control pills, they knew for a fact that it would alter the way a woman picked the male. So what happens is you have the women on birth control pills, and they want a male that's like a father figure. They don't want the big, strong, masculine male. They want the male that's going to be taking care of them and be there for them. When they get off of birth control pills, because they're pheromones.
Let's explain. They're in a pregnant phase, artificially pregnant. The brain believes on the pills. They're looking for a male that is more feminine. When actually a woman's on the hunt, she's looking for a hyper male, but they put him into an artificial system, so they pick a male incorrectly.
That's right.
Which then breeds weak people who are subservient.
Exactly, and they know that too, so they don't want those strong relationships. They don't want people, strong families. They don't want people, having a lot of kids anymore, because they know, especially when they can break the family values up, that that's going to alter and affect the children as well. So the way that they're doing it is they're doing it through birth control pills. They're doing it through chemicals in the food. They're doing it through chemicals in the air. All of these things that we talk about, heavy metals are endocrine disruptors: aluminum, mercury, lead, cadmium. All of your cleaning supplies out there, I mean, DDT, look at DDT that was used.
All right, so it's in everything, right? And then for you people, for you niggas out there that don't trust us because you think you're crazy, but you trust the white man though. You trust the so-called white man. Well, here it is from a damn devil's mouth himself, exposing his own people, which probably was set up anyways, but the information is out there and it's for real. All right, it's not no secret. If you look for the dirt, you're gonna find it, but there it is. All right, it's no secret. And all you women, man, on this damn birth control, man, you got to get off that sorcery. All right, because it's just messing your body up, and it's messing your body up because you feel different.
Use Agent Orange, all of the pesticides that continually cause endocrine disruption, and all of them really block testosterone and alter the amount of estrogen.
Which I noticed it's a similar chemical in birds. I'm not an ornithologist, I forget the name of it. That's why DDT would actually not just cause thinner shells, but it would also end up making most of the chicks female. So again, because I guess they're going through a similar hormonal programming once that egg gets fertilized.
Yeah, it's really a sad situation. I mean, one of the newest things...
Why are you against gay birds?
I'm not against...
Shouldn't we have everything be sterilized?
I'm against the government trying to control the population and the government trying... I'm here to try to report my findings just like you so everybody can wake up.
Continue going through these because you got the studies, all of it right there.
Well, yeah, I mean, one of the latest things, and you know this is the push for hand sanitizers. I mean, look at how many hand sanitizers are out there right now.
Guys, search that hand sanitizer sterilizes you. That's CNN.
Hand sanitizers are alcohol-based, and alcohol in itself, beer, wine, general alcohol is an endocrine disruptor. It lowers your testosterone levels. We've gone to a sedentary life.
Yeah, and we said that before, that alcohol lowers your testosterone levels and it raises your estrogen. That's why, you know, even in this truth, ain't nothing against drinking the alcohol, but the scriptures talk about not drinking it excessively, okay? And that's something that a lot of us brothers, starting with myself, we gotta, you know, we gotta do better. You know, I know we're stressed out and shit, but we got to look into other avenues of easing the stress. You know, too much excessive alcohol, lowering the testosterone, that's no good.
Lifestyle. People aren't exercising as much. That lowers testosterone level.
People aren't exercising as much. People ain't be it because the men, back in the day, the men was doing work, okay? You know what I'm saying? Men was being men. Now, you know, there's all kinds of shit in society, like, you know, where you can be lazy and just get by, all right? So, and then on top of that, this fast-paced lifestyle where you're slaving away most of your time, and then by the time you get out of work, just to, you know, working 2-3 jobs just to pay the damn bills, you're too tired. You know what I'm saying? Especially if your job is not really, you know, an active, a physically demanding job, then you're not really getting much of a workout anyways.
Every single thing is part of this plan. The Rockefellers are the ones that created porn. If you look at guys now, they want to take these guys that are born with low testosterone levels, or the low testosterone in the fetuses, they're growing up more feminine and they're scared of women. They're not as masculine enough. They're just as happy, which is a diversion technique, they're just as happy watching porn and masturbating to porn than they would be if they were going out there and getting women.
And by the way, this is admitted. Everything you're saying is in all the studies, and they broke that down saying they would popularize porn not to make it fun, you know, as they sell it, but to literally give people a simulator so the real thing doesn't happen, and then to also screw up relationships.
And listen to this, it even goes as far as condoms and dildos, because dildos are...
Well, let's not get too much with the...
No, but seriously,
let's just say sexual aids.
Because they contain dioxins, and I mean, you're putting that inside the woman, so that alone is causing massive disruption of the vaginal canal, massive disruption of the natural production of testosterone and estrogen by the ovaries, and you have the spermicides, which are in condoms, which are also made of plastics, by the way, and the spermicides, non-oxyl 9, cause inside the vaginal canal high levels of toxic endocrine disruptors or estrogen testosterone disruptors, as well as the male when it soaks into, you know, the genitalia. And then non-oxyl 9 turns into endocrine disrupting and hormonal disrupting compounds in the water. You know, all these birth control pills, see, our tap water is contaminated with all this stuff because all the birth control pills, when the women go to the bathroom, ends up in our water supply.
And that is just annihilating the aquatic life.
That's right. So it's annihilating aquatic life. I mean, there's polar, even as far as the Antarctic up there, they're seeing signs. You think, well, they don't eat all this processed food. They don't have all this up there. But the water is so contaminated up there that polar bears, actually, female polar bears, are growing penises.
I saw that.
All right. I'm going to continue this in part 3.